And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Century from Sand to Sea. Now you might be confused. You might be thinking, when did they announce this one? Because most people have heard of Century Spice Road, and the new one coming out, Century Eastern Wonders. Well, actually I'm reviewing a rule set that's in this one, and the reason I'm talking about this rule set is because it combines these two games together. That is right, no? No, other way around. They combine these two together into one game. Now, you're mostly using the components from Eastern Wonders. All you need is a deck of cards from this one. But there's almost a little bit more of this one. You know what? Why am I even explaining this to you? Let's let the designer do it.
Hi, my name is Emerson Matsuji. I'll be explaining how to play Century from Sand to Sea. The components that you're going to need from the two games will include the game board here. You'll need to remove one of each additional color, and you'll be replacing it with these ocean tiles here. So there's going to be 4 fewer market tiles on here. For the player board, you will need to go from the standard player board, and you will need to flip it over to the one that has the cards depicted over here. You'll need to get the deck of market cards from Century Spice Road, and you'll be laying out 4 cards over to this side. And that's all the components that you're going to need from Century Spice Road. You'll be removing 2 of the upgrade tiles. So you'll be removing those 2. So these 2 will not be used in this version of the game. Each player is also going to get the 2 starting cards from Century Spice Road. So on your turn, there are 4 main actions that you can take. The first is that you can play a card. So you may play one of your Spice Road cards that you have in your hand. You start it with these 2 starter cards. The second action that you can take is that you can acquire one of these cards. There will be 4 cards that are face up. Just like in Spice Road, this card is going to be free. If you desire a card that's further down the line, you would simply place cubes from your cargo hold to acquire a card that's further down the line. The third action that you can take is that you can take all the cards that you have played. So let's say, for instance, the cards that are played are going to be on this side of your player board. And let's say that you've played these cards. So one of the actions that you can take is you can rest and take all your cards back into your hand. Or the fourth action, which is the key action to combine the two, is that you may play a card face down to this side of the board, and this can come from either your face-up pile that you've played or from your hand, to move your boat that number of spaces. So for instance, if I had played 2 cards, I can move my boat 2 spaces. Then I may build a trading post here. So I would take that from the red row, place it there, and then I would be able to trade. So assuming that I had the 3 yellow cubes, I would be able to trade those 3 to get those cubes. When you clear your first row on your player board, this icon will show that you may take a card without having to pay for it, so you may take any card that's face up over here. If you clear any subsequent row, you now have a choice of either taking another card from the market row here, or you may take one of the 3 upgrades available. And that's it. There is no claiming of victory points like there is in Spice Road, but all the victory points will be on the board here.
Now this is really intriguing to me because I think a lot of the benefits of when this game comes out, Century Eastern Wonders, is that you're essentially getting 2 games. Now they're the same in many ways, but they're different. Okay, the From Sand to Sea, which is what we're talking about here, this is definitely a step up from this one. I mean, it is essentially a 1, 2, 3 step. You play Spice Road, you play the new game, and then you combine them. I would never recommend going into the From Sand to Sea without having played the Eastern Wonders first, because it uses the mechanisms from both. Also, the choices in From Sand to Sea is much vaster. You are now picking from cards you play. You are now picking from the markets on the board. You are now deciding whether you're going to use a card from your hands for the card's action, or whether you're going to use it to move your ship on the board. And all this offers a lot more choices, which makes it a fairly robust style game. But also, you know, for people who, the original game, Spice Road, you were going boom, 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 boom. Here you are more thinking, okay, I'm going to take an action, and sometimes your action is picking your cards up. But sometimes you're like, I don't want to pick my cards up right now, I want to move my boat, so I'm going to take a card so that next time I can move that boat 1 spot. And then use that card. So there's a lot of the cards. The way Century Spice Road worked, you would take a card and say, how does this work with all the other cards? Here you're taking a card and saying, how does this work with the other cards and with the markets that are on the board? And then there's bonus tiles thrown in the mix too. So this feels like a full-fledged game. I would say it's probably maybe 15 minutes per player. Seems like a legitimate way, while Century Spice Road was 10 minutes per player. So this one adds a little bit more time, I think, to the game. I don't know what my preferred way of playing. I really did enjoy this, but I like the games separately too. But that's the cool thing about it, is if you get Century Eastern Wonders, you are essentially getting 2 more games added to the system. So that's how they combine. It was not what I expected. I wasn't sure how it was going to work. If you're going to transport them around, it seems pretty simple. You just take the deck of cards out of Spice Roads and stick it in the other box. You might have to move an insert around or something, but still a cool combination. That is Century from Sand to Sea. I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks to Emerson and Plan B Games, which is where I'm at recording this. Until next time, you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!
Shut the door!
Shut the door!
Yeah?